Hello, I am Andrea Sulzer. I would like to ask you to share this message and the link to our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniel Sulzer. Here's a statement. Switzerland has destroyed our existence. We are insolvent and dependent on other people. The Swiss Confederation destroyed us because the Department of Defense stole the innovation of Performfun Ltd for their VBS DDPS sports app, destroying the startup and defrauding the shareholders. Because Viola Amherd, promoted to the Federal Council by the Swiss People's Party SVP and head of the Department of Defense, was incapable of finding a solution for the startup. Because Federal Councillor Viola Amherd built a structure of lies together with the army leadership, her general secretariat and the legal staff of the finance department led by SVP Federal Councillor Uli Maurer. Because the startup and I, Daniel Sulzer, plaintiff, filed charges against Federal Councillor Viola Amherd and other high-ranking federal and army officials with the Federal Supreme Court on June 7, 2021. And because, in a state governed by the rule of law, the Federal Supreme Court should have ordered compensation of 15 million Swiss francs to the plaintiffs, given the material facts and the procedural incapacity of the Confederation. Because the Swiss People's Party SVP wanted to sweep the lawsuit under the rug and strengthen its position in the Federal Council through its former SVP president and Amherd supporter Albert Rösti, which it did. Because we continued to insist on the payment of compensation and on a resolution of the matter with Switzerland and the Department of Defense. Because we insisted on our right to compensation, and I filed criminal complaints against federal councillors, senior Swiss officials, federal employees and their beneficiaries with the Swiss Federal Prosecutor's Office starting on March 2023. Because the Swiss Federal Prosecutor has delayed the criminal complaints and, despite clear legal requirements, has failed to initiate criminal proceedings. Because Federal Councillor Viola Amherd was asked by the SVP to resign this spring, and the new Federal Councillor and head of the Department of Defense, Martin Pfister, has submitted to the decision of his Chief Legal Officer, Dr. Jur Gerhard Saladin. Dr. Jur Gerhard Saladin, together with Secretary General Tony Eder, dismissed a reasonable solution with lies already under Amherd's leadership. Because Federal Councillor Martin Pfister, elected by the SVP majority, and Dr. Jur Gerhard Saladin, knowing about the unlawful conduct of their peers and aware of the total destruction of our existence, deny a reasonable solution and closure of the matter. Federal Councillor Pfister tolerates this refusal irresponsibly and without moral integrity. Because the entire Federal Council hides and boasts the nationalist and autocratic power of the SVP. Because a large number of federal and state employees, private beneficiaries and members of the Swiss Parliament chase after the nationalist and autocratic forces of the SVP and have supported and continue to support the destruction of us citizens without hesitation. After over 45 years of our work as parents, employees, entrepreneurs, innovators, military officers and engaged citizens, Switzerland has destroyed us and our existence with repulsive, anti-citizen, inhuman, backward behavior as if it were 100 years ago, when unwanted people were simply gotten rid of. Switzerland did it through the enormous lies of its federal councillors, administrative staff and their beneficiaries. Political court rulings at all judicial levels and a show trial against me, Daniel Sulzer. Business damage through abstraction and manipulation of business operations, such as customer acquisition, contract awards, business and project execution in Switzerland, Germany and Denmark, and through interference with communication by email, telephone, mobile, LinkedIn, etc. Unbearable destabilization measures against us and social isolation in all areas of life. surveillance, tailing, threats of violence, property damage, manipulation of people and technical devices, eavesdropping with digital devices, TV, mobile phone, PC, car, trespassing into private spaces, deliberate endangerment of life, theft, and primitive, malicious harassment of everyday life. They have done and continue to do all this with enormous effort, including occupying apartments near us and evidently paying neighbors. Silencing of supportive individuals from politics and the media. Switzerland has almost completely prevented communication and dialogue with politics, the press, the media and the public, including social media channel, except for limited access to our YouTube channel. The Swiss People's Party SVP could have resolved this matter amicably and reasonably years ago. It has always had the political power to do so. Even now, with the change in the Federal Council, it still could, but has so far chosen not to. Instead, the SVP again had a federal councillor elected to replace Viola Amherd in order to sweep this matter under the rug. Federal Councillor Martin Pfister is unfit for office. He follows his SVP electorate and his chief legal officer at the Department of Defense, Dr. Jürg Gerhard Saladin. He has revealed himself as a rigid, dependent and ultimately unworthy party soldier of the SVP. Like his predecessor Viola Amherd, Federal Councillor Pfister is untenable for a democratic Switzerland. Switzerland must pay for the damage it has caused us. We will continue to report on Switzerland's machinations until the damage has been paid. Even the alternative, the removal of my person, which may have been hinted at last week, will not make this story disappear without compensation. The SVP and its sick, anti-citizen nationalists must understand this. Because of the escalation potential in this devastating Swiss-made situation, this alternative must be taken seriously. Federal President Karin Keller-Sutter also charged, Federal Councillor Elisabeth Bohm-Schneider and Federal Councillors Martin Pfister, Guy Parmelin, Ignacio Cassis, Albert Rösti, also charged, and Beat Jans have had a renewed request for a reasonable solution and conclusion of the matter on their desk since September 1st, 2025. We tried to escape the surveillance and shadowing this spring. We therefore sailed to Gothenburg, Sweden, with our sailing boat, an old vessel we financed from our remaining retirement savings. Not only in this journey, but whenever we meet people, we talk about this hardly comprehensible, anti-citizen and inhuman affair of Switzerland. We can say that in none of the countries, Germany, Denmark, Sweden and Switzerland, did we speak to people who condoned the destruction of citizens in any form. People are shocked by how Switzerland treats its citizens. We ask you to share this message and to link to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.